Right, so today's live is going to be a conversation. Hang on. Today's live is going to be a conversation about the Delphi case from both sides. We're going to have Luke up, who's pro defence, and me, who's pro prosecution. Now, one thing was pointed out by Luke: we're not experts on the case, so if we get something wrong, don't run us down, don't drag us into the dirt, just point it out and we'll address it. We're going to have a conversation about the case as a whole. I'll try and get it through as many comments as I can while we're doing that. But at the same time, passenger, welcome. It's we're not claiming an adult convo, busted out baby, all that. Okay. You're started already, look. Yeah, yeah, just be anyone's welcome in the chat. You ain't gotta, people sitting around doing nothing. No one, you ain't gotta argue with each other. If you disagree, try and debate it out. If you can't debate it out, then just ignore each other. If need be, block each other. Who are the adults? Well, it's going to be British, so it's going to be American adults. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the plan for the main part of the live, and then we're going to do. You can ask us questions. Keep the questions respectable. Just put the person's name and then your question, so we know who's got to address it. Yeah, if anybody comes in and is an arsehole and doesn't abide by the rules, remove the comment, give them a warning. If they carry on, just get rid of them. I'll unblock them after the live. She adulted you last night. I don't want to grow, dude. So, yeah, Luke, if you want to come up. I did plan on taking a bit longer than that, but yeah, anybody's welcome. It doesn't matter what side you're on. Just keep it civil. Talk it out. If you can't talk it out, get out. All right, Luke.
Hi, how are you?
Should we start off because of the prof stuff, and just explain how we come to be in contact?
Yeah, it's not the most obvious.
If I go from when me and Luke first conversated, we weren't friends. We were actually at each other. Do you know what I mean? That's true. We were saying childish things to each other on Twitter, and we were attacking each other. And then I saw. I mean, I'd done a live on the prof, but I'd moved on. I'd started doing my own things on my channel, and I saw him going at you and that, and I was like, "Do you know about this?" And I dropped you the document, didn't I?
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And then I was like, you know what? These I'm doing it on Twitter, but someone needs to be doing it on his doorstep where he plays. And that's literally where we started coming at it, like over here. But yeah, so do you want to address what it is that actually started it? Is it just the website?
Yeah, it's a lot. I think one thing is you're right about is we used to just scrap on Twitter and say stupid things to each other, but I think I think a lot of things changed after the trial. And one thing I said to you in private, which I will say to anyone, and I've said it to other people, is we need to clean up the environment. If this is going to go on for a few more years, and it might do, there might be appeals, there might be new information, whatever. If people are going to keep talking about the case, we need to clear it up, and there can't be the same old shit, you know.
It's not even just the Delphi case, like, because
Yeah,
I don't talk, not because I don't care about the girls, like Prof's gonna say, but for me it's over. So unless something happens and it goes to appeal, then I'll be interested in seeing what goes on. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? But
yeah.
for me right now, it's over. You guys doing what you're doing, like I think Jinx said it last night. I think Jinx said it last night. She was like, if people want to like do what yous are doing, that's fine. Leave them do it. Do you know what I mean? There's no need for hostility on it. And then I think part of everybody falling out over is he guilty, is he not? Because of that fallout, that's actually what created the Prof and made him who he is. Because pre-arrest, I don't think there was a Prof.
No, I don't think so. I think he moved to Indiana for this as a project for a while, and then he left. I don't know.
No, he visited for a few days and told everyone he'd done that. in a van that actually was up for repo, so
right.
that would have been fun.
But you're right, though. Like if somebody was kind of convinced of Rick Allen's guilt, then it ends at the trial.
Yeah.
There are some people, I'm one of them, who thinks that there were some serious errors in the procedure, and we're going to do our thing, and that's fine. But it's not like an interpersonal issue between people.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's history, yes, there's history, but we don't need to live in the history.
Because at the moment, what everyone needs to understand is, if you all start covering other cases as well, this is like a sub community in the true crime community. So we've all got to get along because we can share information and things like that's one thing that wasn't happening, and that's why people were saying, you know, oh, they're lying because nobody was sharing information and having the conversation.
It's true. Also, I'm sure, like, I don't know about you, but me personally, there were probably conversations or things in the past which I would probably want to do a different way, do a better way, and not have so much tension, you know, the first time around. I'm sure we've all moved on from that.
I don't know about everybody else, but for me, if I'm watching people talk about a case, I want to see both sides. Do you know what I mean? Discussing it. I don't want to see, you know, like three people that are pro defense or pro prosecution talking it out all the time. Yeah, it's great, but I don't want to see it all the time. I want to see a guest from another channel that doesn't agree with my thoughts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how you generate good conversation, and maybe you get a new idea from that.
Well, yeah, and it just makes it interesting as well.
Yeah.
So, should we start at the PCA?
Yeah, let's go. Let's see what we do.
Okay, then. So, do you have any issues with the PCA?
I think the process by which it was done is my main issue with that, as in it was put to Judge Dina. It was kind of, it feels like it was rushed and it was done in the dark. That's a big problem.
Yeah.
And I see that that's a process issue. And I think it's one of the kind of things where I feel like if that were me, if I was in that position and that happened to me, I would, you know, you don't know where to go to get help in that situation. And the state has such a huge amount of power that if someone writes up a PCA that has something that's not right in it, you're still going to be locked up. You know, you still have to go through that process.
See, I had a problem with it. I wanted more. They had 5 years.
Yeah.
And when I saw the PCA, you know, this is what I was given. I did have problems with it, but for me, like what you're saying about like the way it went about and that, I'm not too familiar with that, but like I said, I wanted to see more. It's been 5 years. You know what I mean? Was it 5 years? It was, wasn't it?
And, it was 5 years.
I wanted to see more I wanted to see like they've got blood.
Some guts, meat, and like something convincing. Yeah, I feel like it wasn't super convincing.
It wasn't, but it had what it had, and it's what they used at trial. For me,
there was one
I don't
thing.
know, look, because I think because we'd spent 5 years on it, for me anyway, because I'd spent 5 years like watching it. I was in another community then. I wanted a lot more. I did want it a lot more.
Yeah, there's one issue. One specific thing is that, and now we've seen the police interviews with Richard Allen,
the interrogations.
Yeah. You see in those that he's saying I was wearing a black jacket. I was wearing a black jacket, right? The PCA says blue jacket. So that's I guess one specific thing I might point to.
I agree with you. He just say I'm wearing a black, but at first they're asking him these questions like about the blue jacket, and he's like, but it's when they start putting to him that it might be him that he starts swerving on things. Like for me, like he starts saying he does say about the black jacket, but for me, he starts doing that when things are being put on him. Do you know what I mean?
Some people would argue like that's the way, the read technique, right? This American, they don't really have it in the UK, but this American approach to interrogation, I think I would say, and you might say, well, you would say that, but I would say the read technique is really good at putting words in people's mouths, Yeah,
I agree with that, but I don't see. Yeah, I do agree that was used, but I think it was more. Yeah, but it's like the one interview them sitting there, and they're all pally with him, and like, oh look, this is what you said. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, this is what you said, and trying to get him to repeat it. Like, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And but
I use that with my kids.
I say that to my daughter, and she'd want a lawyer. But there's a lot to unpack in the interrogation. See, like he's talking to, for me, like he's talking to his wife, and he says, like he's saying to her, like, no, it's not his wife. He's talking to one of the officers, and he's saying, like he's explaining what he does, and then he goes, and then I go down there, and he stops, and he goes back on himself, and he says, oh, and then I left. Do you know what I mean? And it's like when he was addressed about the timings that he was there, he never challenged or changed them until later on when he was challenged.
There's some interesting things about the timings. And I was thinking about that one interview, I think it's with Mullins, the first one. It's definitely not the Holman one, where he's saying, I think I left, I got there about noon, maybe stayed for about an hour and then left. And I was thinking, if I look back 5 years ago from now, I couldn't tell you what time I left a place. Obviously you could say, well, it was an important thing and blah, 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 but like I would struggle. I would personally struggle in that situation.
Especially when you're just out on the in the middle of you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. It's scary. It's scary. We live in a world where the state is super powerful a lot of the time, and I guess in some ways it has to be, but to be in that situation, if you are innocent, that's got to be the most terrifying thing.
He's Luca Brit. No, he's German.
This is the British Embassy.
Yeah, I mean, see, I wish I could get the things up. I don't want to get copyright struck though, because people are with these tapes because they're so few and far between. Plus, you know yourself about the prof with his copyright claims.
Oh God, yeah.
On that video, so. But I'm trying to think of a point in the interview. See, I think Mullins and that were definitely the good guys, and then when he come in with Holman was like basically saying to him, You know, we know you was involved, but we need you to give up certain information for you to have any chance.
Yeah,
That's how he started out, weren't it? What would you say to that?
Yeah, that's right, and that's a read technique thing, I think.
Yeah.
And you're automatically framing the start of the conversation from quite a difficult place. It's quite difficult for the recipient to come back from that, you know, unless you just say nothing. It's kind of like if the police come to you with you in mind as a potential suspect, then they should have the goods already. They shouldn't need anything from you.
It's interesting how people can, like, people all get different interpretations, but it's the same in anything. Like, I see it with the politics. I'm very interested in the politics, and I'll watch an interview of a politician saying something, and I'll be dreading it. Like, oh my God, we're going to get taxed. We're going to get taxed. We're going to get this, and then you got everybody like on Facebook and that going, "Oh, what a great day! So grateful that so and so said this," and I'm like, "Are you for real?"
Yeah. Especially recently, in the last maybe 10 years or so, it's got a lot more like that.
Yeah, because politicians are different now. Like, they've always been thieves, but now they're taking more and more, and they're blatant about it.
They're laughing in our faces a lot of the time, no matter which side, in the US or UK, no matter which side, is kind of, yeah, it's rough. We're paying more tax than ever in both places. We get less for it, you know, public services in both places. Anyway, I'm not gonna do politics.
So, do you think Bridge Guy is the guy that committed the crime, or do you think that that's because I know some people on the pro defense side say, how do we know the Bridge Guy was the one who committed the crime?
I don't have like a master. Some people do have like these fixed ideas of, you know, the theories of the crime. I don't have a particularly fixed one, but my suspicion is that it doesn't have to be him, you know.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because since we, oh God, yeah, it's for me, like, the guy on the bridge is definitely the guy who did it, because, well, there's no one in the area, and I've seen people have said, oh God, here he comes. People have said about what's it called? I can hear this voice, I can hear that voice, and
Yeah,
I hear Abby on the bridge, and then I hear like Libby talking when she walks off, and I don't know what Abby says, but she says something as she goes past Libby, and then we hear the guys down the hill, and I don't hear any other voices. I just hear the three voices, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there was some debate when the video came out about whether there was a whispering sound, and I mean, who knows? It does sound like it for a minute, but what I think is, if it's about the context of why Libby took out her phone, right? And unless we see evidence of other videos being taken around that same time, which didn't come out at trial, but who knows? There could be something there. What I would say is your gut instinct when you're in danger is quite powerful, you know? And if she took out her phone because she felt that she was in danger, then that would suggest the bridge guy probably is, you know, is the guy, or one of potentially several people who were involved, but basically posed a threat to her and Nabby.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, yeah, I agree with that.
And also, there's like under the bridge, like there's space. You could argue there's space under the bridge. There could be somebody under there. I know people go and hang out under the bridge. Like it, but I think that at the point of the beginning of the crime, that guy who we see in the video is definitely, you know, definitely involved.
Yeah, even if he's like, in your opinion, even if he's just closing off the bridge, so they
Yeah.
can't go back that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, whoever's on the bridge, this was my original theory. Whoever's on the bridge took them off the bridge, and I always believed that he took them to meet the Klines at another location,
Mhm.
and the Klines didn't turn up, so he did what he did and got out of there.
That's interesting. See, I think that it's something to do with Keegan Kline as well. I mean, how can you have a situation where a guy like him was I mean, we know he was communicating with Libby German and was planning to meet her. Like, it's tough for me to hear arguments that he wasn't involved in some form.
I don't. I think my only struggle with that, because like I said, that was my original fit. Because when Richard Allen got arrested, I watched it all, and then I left YouTube and everything. I went and had a break, and when I come back, I basically got all the information. It was around about the PCA had just been released, and then the Franks memo come out.
Yeah.
And so I had everybody who was a suspect on this little graph, and once I'd listened to the reason that it was them, I was able to go through and say which one was more likely and all that. And the Klines never left that list.
No.
For some reason, there's just too much circumstance around them. Like Rick Snay says, when you talk about the gas station, he Googled that because he heard it. Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, it's that's just what I'd say if I'd just been involved in a crime.
Right, the mental gymnastics are too much.
Yeah. And in my opinion, if you're talking to like families like that, then I don't want to know what's going on in your phone, really, to be honest.
Yeah. So when you read the PCA, did you think, I know you just said there wasn't enough in it, or there wasn't too much in it, but were you satisfied at that point with guilt?
What with the PCA?
Yeah.
No, when the Franks memo first came out, no, I wasn't. I used to talk to Bob Motter actually quite a lot privately.
Okay.
And I used to go to him about like other cases as well and say, "What do you think of this?" And so he told me the Franks memo is a load of bollocks. That's what he told me. He says it's a load of bollocks. They need to move on from it. But he said that on his channel as well. So, so with the Franks memo, but I think it was sensationalism with why I was so attracted to it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was mind blowing. It was huge.
But like I said, like I was doing this thing where everyone that was in the Franks memo, I'd already plucked out, if you know what I mean. Like
Right.
Brad Holder was at work. You can't put him at the crime scene. Was he involved in something later on? Maybe, but not this crime. This, in my eyes, the crime happened in and around the time of the abduction. It wasn't they went away and come back. I don't know how you feel about that, but for me, to bring them back and things like that, there's too much logistics. Plus, there was people, like people say, the crime scene was like cleared and all that, as in there was no one around it. Searches is called off early, but the searches were called off, but people were still out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know what you think about that.
I feel I've never been there, right? I've never been to Indiana.
Yeah, well, nor have I.
Yeah, from what I hear from people who've been to the Creek, to the bridge, etc. It sounds like a very open area. Like, I find it difficult to, and it also sounds like a lot of people were just in and around that place, even in February, because the weather was decent and stuff. And the sun came up whenever it did. I just find it difficult to imagine the two girls being there for all of that time and not being seen. And there was also the other thing was the trail cam. I don't know if you followed that bit of the trial, which is quite interesting. I mean,
Trail cam.
there was a trail cam. So this was long rumored for years that there was this trail cam on a tree.
I heard the rumours, but I don't think it was ever.
So that came out at trial. I know we haven't had the transcripts and stuff yet, but
Yeah. So at trial, it was mentioned about the transcripts.
mentioned about the trail cam.
That's what. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fine. And I think it was a guy called Pat Clausen who was seen on the trail cam at, I think, about 2:30 in the morning, something like that. And we don't know the exact place where the trail cam was, but by the sounds of it, it's only a few meters away from where the girls were found, right? So then I think my mind goes to, well, okay, if somebody was walking through there just within a couple of meters at 2:30 a.m. and didn't see the girls.
Yeah, Bossy said that was mentioned at trial. The camera faced the crime scene, but the girls' bodies were just out of view. It faced Ron Logan's property at the
Yeah,
ravine.
he's right. Yeah. Bossy's right.
So that's called a receipt, ladies and gentlemen. Bossy confirming the enemy's view.
It's high quality, Bossy. It's this kind of stuff. This is what I mean, or I think this is what people say when they say reasonable doubt. You know, if you, so Bossy's saying that the camera faced crime scene, but the girls' bodies were out of view. That's true. The bodies wouldn't have been seen, but the camera picked up this guy walking past where the bodies were at 2:30 in the morning. That person would have seen them. If you see what I'm getting at. There was also the reports of the screams at around the same time, around 2 a.m., something like that.
Yeah, I remember hearing about the screams because I remember because I used to think myself, like I said, when in and around the arrest time, I used to think about well, what about the screams? Do you know what I mean?
And we've never been told about this.
And let's be honest, Brad Holder didn't exactly do himself any favors. Do you know what I mean? Arguing with people on Facebook and taunting people with that hat that he.
Yeah.
I've got a similar hat on now, but he used to wear that hat that everyone said Bridge Guy had.
Yeah, and the
the
bottle of or the can of German beer and something like that. There's one picture where he's got two drinks on a table, I think, and one supposedly represents Libby and one represents Abby. But
hang on, people. TJ, no one's discussed the family or anything like that. And Luke said on his channel as well, no bashing the family. So there's no need to bring things like that up. Have you ever been in the woods at night?
Have I?
I want to talk about that on camera.
Have you? Which wood? Or any woods? Or just...
Yeah, she just means any woods in general.
I have, yeah.
So yeah, I did think about did they go away and did they come back? Because don't forget, not a lot of people had seen the crime scene until a lot later on. Do you know what I mean? Because don't forget, the crime scene was kept tight-lipped for a long time. Like we was told, we was told that it was like a football field away from where they were found. But it turns out that wasn't true.
They kept a lot of things tight, actually. Like even the weapon they kept that super close to the chest.
Well, I don't think they knew. I don't think they knew what they was looking for. I think they knew sharp blade. That's all they knew, I think. But that's often the case in a lot of cases with weapons, unless it's a brand new blade or a specialist blade.
One thing I got an issue with actually is if you know Ron Logan, right? Have you read the search warrant for Logan's place?
I have, but you're talking
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Same. It's only one little point, which is that they didn't mention looking for bullets or guns or anything like that. So
I thought they did take guns from.
Did they?
I thought it says in the warrant that they see. I could be wrong, but I'm sure they said that they seized. I've been to the crime scene at night. I've spoke to Eric Williams many times. They didn't see the body. What he means is like that was in the daytime. Someone was right up by him as well, and they passed them. And as they passed the girls, they actually walked into the search party that was saying the girls were over there. So he just walked past them, and he didn't know. And but what it is because like if you imagine like a hill, and like there's an embankment in the hill, so it was like a little area where they was, and then the rest, like above it's a hill, below it's a hill, and there was like just that little. That's why it was so hard for them to see. I think that's how it's been explained to me anyway. There's no mention of a bullet. No, there wasn't a mention of a bullet. You're correct, but I'm sure they mentioned that they took guns. I'm not sure.
I think he wasn't meant to have guns because he was on probation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so maybe that's why, but I don't think there's. Yeah, it's a floodplain area. That's the best way to explain it.
Yeah, and I think the floodplain is what was in sight of the trail cam, where this guy Pat Clausen, who's an ex-firefighter or ex-fire chief, something like that, walks past. I don't know, man. I mean, we can't say what it looks like, and we can't say what it looks like at 2 a.m. either, I suppose.
Yeah, Ron Logan's
Maybe
here now.
someone here can.
I mean, oh God, he's off. Fuck's sake. Oh God. If he tries to sell you weed, just tell him no. Yeah.
Spelling.
Yeah, well, Bossy says that the camera that you're on about, she says she remembers it. She says it was only briefly, and it was just off where you're saying, as in where the girls were, was just off camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what picture you're on about, Jessica. Oh, you're on about the trail cam picture? Is that what she's on about, the trail cam picture?
Yeah. You know how the court is releasing, like, drip feeding out the summonses and these thumb drives and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will be lucky enough to get this.
Yeah. So we've done the PCA, sort of.
Yeah.
Talked a bit about the interrogation. Talked about, do we think the bridge guy is the guy? They didn't need a warrant for the guns, right? No, well, they didn't need a warrant at all because he was on probation.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was weird they got a warrant.
But they would have still wanted to get a search warrant so that they could use whatever they found in court.
My honest opinion with the FBI in the investigation was they were trying to pin it on everyone. They were trying to pin it because it was just a small town. They were trying to pin it on someone so they could get out, and that's why they were asked to leave. Because they went after Ron Logan, and then it was proven it wasn't him, and they'd spent so much on him, and then they all spent how long on the Klines? Because people like I think Snay averted the last time he was live saying as soon as they'd searched the Klines' house, they cleared the Klines. That's not true, because literally the Wabash River search happened just before the arrest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and nobody's really been cleared anyway.
Yeah. So, what? Because I know I heard the other day you was just talking about evidence and what didn't get put into the trial. What evidence is it that you think should have been in trial that wasn't at trial?
The geofence data, but I'm not sure that the state got that legally. I don't know, but I feel like the geofence data would tell you exactly who was there and who wasn't there. It's also really unusual for the state to. The state tried to keep. Well, it was the state that asked the court to keep the geofence out, which is really unusual.
That's true. Actually, you got FBI agents on YouTube that are getting wackier as they come out. But I think that's the sensationalism of YouTube. I don't think they were like that in their career. I think they're just trying to be popular.
I mean, if you're going to be a federal agent and choose to be a YouTuber, maybe there's something wrong. You know?
But what was we on about? Sorry.
Evidence at trial.
Yeah. So you said the geofencing, but the defence never shown any reason for it to be put. Leave cough drop alone, please. I don't think the defence did anything, because if they'd have shown, well, actually, this exonerates my client, then that would have tied Gould's hands, and they'd have gone straight to, I don't know who Michael Phillips is.
Michael Phillips.
Yeah, I feel like if they had, like, if there was something in the geofencing, then, you know, the defence, it wouldn't have been a case of, you know, them sitting there saying, well, they won't let it in trial now, that's not right. It'd have been a case of, well, okay, then we'll go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, maybe that, but I think
they weren't afraid to not use the Supreme Court. They used it twice. So I think anything that they feel regarding geofencing and that, oh no.
I think by the time, if I recall, by the time the geofencing was coming up as a liminae issue, as in the court was deciding what would go in and not, it was fairly late in the process, and by that point, the defense wanted to just get on with it. I think Alan wanted to get on with it, but this might be something that comes up at appeal. I don't know. It feels like such important information.
Well, everybody wants to know about it.
Yeah. Well, they have to. It depends where they got it from. If they got it from the wrong place, I mean, we may never see it.
Yeah. I don't know. See, from what I heard about the geofencing, from what the defence said, they said there were 3 phones.
Yeah.
2 of which they said there was 3 unidentified phones.
There's one mystery phone that we don't.
But according to the witness list, there were 2 people there to talk about the geofencing because they were at the bridge.
A lot of people were around.
I don't know. That's just something that was highlighted to me and said, do you know what I mean? I don't know. I can't, verify that.
Off the top of my head, I don't know exactly, but I think there was one phone that couldn't be traced back to somebody, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
It couldn't be traced back to Alan. It couldn't be traced back to anyone.
Yeah. What about the third party stuff? Where do you sit with the third party stuff?
It's a tough one. Like clearly the lawyers who wrote the what do you call it? The Franks memo did a lot of work. I mean, it's 100-odd pages, 130 pages, I think.
Yeah.
It's clearly well researched. There's a lot of stuff in there which does make you think, "Whoa, that's odd." That might point towards other people. I think my views of those third parties aside, I think they probably should have been let in. And I think Judge Gold's definition of a nexus, like a relevant connection, it changed depending on the context. I think if you've got a legitimate third party you want to point at, that's your right to do. And
yeah, they didn't really point at anyone in particular, did they? They just got everyone in town, basically.
well, Gold didn't let it in anyway. That, and we'll see. I guess a higher court.
I don't think that through an appeal I mean, I don't know. I'm just me, but I don't think that'll based on third party. I don't think there'll be any effect to the case because they couldn't pin any of them to the crime scene. Everyone was saying, I was having this conversation with a few people in Peggy's chat, and none of them, look, yeah, about the nexus. They all was telling me it was something to do with the DNA, but I've never heard this. I'd never heard that the reason third party wasn't allowed was because Judge Gould said something about the DNA.
Yeah, no. She said it kind of under the, how do we say it? Like, she kind of muttered it to herself on a sidebar in the early stages of the trial, or I think that's what it was. And her saying, if she did say, well, there's no DNA, that's almost like saying DNA is the watermark you have to get to make a nexus, which isn't actually the case. So this stuff is for appeals lawyers.
I agree with that. A nexus can be you just got to get them in and around the crime scene.
Yeah, a means, motive, and opportunity, I think it is.
Oh yeah, a passenger was in that chat actually, so it might have been him that was him or her, I don't know, that was saying it. The judge decides the nexus. It's up to the judge. Okay, that might be why that was being said.
The judges have a lot of power, you know. Obviously, that might sound obvious, but they also exist within the framework of case law, of constitutional principles, etc. And that's why we have appeals processes.
Yeah.
So if they find that there was an error, and to do that, they'll need to be going through the transcripts, every single word of the transcripts. Then they can go and put it to a higher judge and see. So yeah, I mean, it's up to the judge, but the judge also has to operate within the law.
You know, first step on the nexus is proof. There was I don't know if he's behind in the chat or, oh God, what's happened now? Fog data isn't the same as geofencing. Now, fog data is to do with the internet, so it'd be internet searches and things like that.
Well, actually, it's interesting. So there's a company called Fog Reveal that can do kind of some wacky geofence.
We was actually looking at that during the trial. What you're on about now? Go on.
Yeah, it's contentious because it's if a police force goes and uses Fog Reveal, it's potentially not admissible. So because of the way Fog Reveal collects data, it kind of collects all of our data and then finds some way using analysis to group it, and then they can somehow figure out where you are. I don't really know. If the police did that, then they would have a problem, and I can see why they might not want that in court.
See, we was told, I can't remember who told us, but tomorrow's going to be all about what you're on about now, the Fog Reveal, and it just wasn't. I think the internet searches was brought up right at the end of the day. If I'm right, I wasn't there, so you can't blame somebody unless they've already been cleared or have an alibi. They are supposed to stay in. My screen's moving before I'm touching it.
I think third party is the most controversial bit of this. that's what you're seeing with your guests. Like it causes it triggers a lot of conversation because it is so controversial, the third party stuff, because, well, for many reasons. And I personally would have focused on maybe something else, but
yeah, you can move on if you want. If you don't
no,
know,
I mean as a defense strategy.
Okay.
I probably would have gone somewhere else, like maybe around the timing, or maybe around like the fact that the Hoosier Harvester CCTV's camera was off by 55 minutes or whatever it was, and that only came out at trial. So, like, third party was interesting. It put the case in the news again, big time. Got a lot of eyes back on the case, but it's such a controversial approach.
See, if I was his lawyers, I'd what's he called? I'd have attacked the timeline like Bob Motter says.
Yeah.
I know I'm agreeing with Bob Motter, even though me and him had a fallout. That's the first thing I'd have gone for. Is the timeline. I'd have broke it down and said, "Well, there you go. You weren't there at the time that you're saying."
Yeah.
And then I would have gone for third party, but I wouldn't have gone for, like, if I was going for the Odinists, I'd have gone for one of them, and you know what I mean, and said, "This is one of the people that I believe was involved. Here's my reasons why." But I think in my opinion, I don't think they defended him very well. I think they, I don't think they did enough work on the case. I think they were busy elsewhere because, like, if you listen about visits they did with him, it wasn't actually them. It was, I don't know what the hell you're saying, Fish. Like, it was always that, the young lad that worked for him. It was always him that was visiting them. Yeah, Max, yeah.
Yeah, I think some of the lawyers went at different times and stuff.
Okay, Angel Warrior, you've said it 3 times now.
What does Angel say?
Something about
Figgy Souls mentioned Froggerville. Okay, right. Let's not talk about Fig Souls. Okay, so it's difficult to criticize a lawyer in that situation. I've never been a defense lawyer, and frankly, I wouldn't want to be.
Oh no, I'd never want to be one.
It's like hellish, and if you have to live with the outcome of all of these cases for the rest of your life, and I don't know.
Yeah, give me a shovel and some concrete. I'm all right. I just like to watch these cases from afar.
But if I had to, I would have, like, looking back, or if you're on a Monday morning quarterback it, I would say just do a much more simple thing. Focus on the timeline, and there's quite a lot of useful information in if you focus narrowly on the timeline. Like Jessica's saying, too big a scoop, and it got lost.
What's going on now? Yeah, so I think we'll leave third party alone. We're not lawyers. Well, not defense lawyers anyway. So we'll move on from here.
It's
cause a bit of
yeah,
focus in the chat.
We're fine though.
Like, yeah.
Chat can argue and whatever. We're fine. This is the great thing about this. Well, the interesting thing about this case is you can talk about so many different things.
See, that's interesting because Shane just brought up Keegan again. I have a lot of issues with. I just can't get over him, and I'm not going to say he's the guy that committed the crime, but I definitely feel it's Luke. His links at the top. His Twitter and YouTube at the top. Junior. Yeah. Like I thought at first, like he had some sort of immunity and he was talking, not because of what Holly was saying, but because there was talks of him getting a lesser sentence and things like that. And then all of a sudden, he got 40 years.
Yeah.
It's called Fog Reveal, Fog Day Science. Anyone wants to look it up, February 17th. It's doubtful that capable it was really available or reliable. Oh, there you go. Thank you for that.
Yeah, in 2017 that's true, but in 2022 it's not true. Yeah, I agree about Kline. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about his dad. I don't really know much about his dad, but I feel like just the fact that he was planning to meet Libby, he was contacting her.
Yeah.
Like, how can you ignore that? It's mad.
I don't think he, like, you know what I mean? I don't think he was the perpetrator, but I think he was meant to meet the perpetrator with the girls. It went south, and the perpetrator got out of there.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. And it could have been a
That's
bunch
my
of people.
opinion. Whether I'm wrong or right, you know, it doesn't matter to anyone. You know what I mean?
See, that feels like a nexus to me. You know.
What I just said. You see, there is things that like point towards it, like the fact that you know, he googled the Richard from his lawyers. Jet fuel, popcorn, bacon. Okay.
Also, it feels like they had so many people as suspects. Well, not so many people, but they had, you know, Logan, whatever, and then Alan, and a few POIs over the years. But Keegan Kline, no. It's like, come on. I can see the connection there. It's pretty obvious. And like Jessica's saying, it's less of a mental leap. If you want to make an argument for third party in front of a jury, Keegan Kline is a great one.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, because I mean, like you said, he was in contact with a girl. He googled the station. He fled the town the next day.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there was much planning on that, because I don't know how far Vegas is away from there, but like when they drove, didn't they? So there wouldn't have needed to be much planning.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. He googled how long does DNA last.
Yeah. There's so much around him, and I can never take him off my little tree that I was making, and I'll never give him a pass. He'll always be in and around. Like, well, for one, I'd never let him around my children. I wouldn't let him around. I wouldn't have him watch my dog while I went to the shop. You know what I mean?
He'd probably sell it, but
he'd probably do a lot of things to it. I think selling is probably one of the least things you've got to worry about.
Yeah, it's grim. It's grim, man.
Yeah.
It's grim. He's in the right place now.
Oh, for sure. And for the next however many years. 40, isn't he?
Yeah.
See, that tells me, like with cases like his, you don't normally see that sort of timeline, do you? So that tells me
that's a heavy sentence.
Yeah, they gave him the max of the max because they knew he must have known something towards Delphi, in my opinion, and they couldn't prove it, so they watched it called.
Had to do it on the back door kind of thing.
Well, no, they had to do like through his ongoing case that he had, because he was giving them information allegedly. We know that he met with McClelland and that.
Yeah, and he went for the river search as well.
Yeah, well, some people are saying that's not true now, but apparently he was there. I mean, where did you hear that?
I remember it from at the time. I can't remember exactly where, but I haven't seen it.
I thought that come from the murder sheet.
It might have been, actually.
Because I only knew who they was. I think I seen them on Tom Webster's once, and I saw their YouTube channel, but Their YouTube, they don't update their YouTube channel. It's all old stuff.
They had a lot of information about Kline, and that's something I've got a lot of feelings on, to be honest with you. Like, they say that they got this huge amount of documents from Kline's case by accident because they were looking at my case at 11 o'clock that morning, and the court had made a mistake. That's bullshit. I think they were given that by somebody. I don't know who.
I've heard a few people say they think he was using his credentials to, you know what I mean, to look at things.
Right.
Because he's a lawyer, and he works at a court. I don't know. This is all.
Kevin. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, he's a lawyer. He claims to.
Yeah, I know he's a lawyer, but I mean, I was under the impression he was something at a court or something, like a courthouse. So he had access to, or he used someone's, or I might be relaying it wrong, and he used someone's credentials.
You might well be right. I think my recollection is, and I always put, I rarely say I'm 100% sure about anything, but I think that the way they spun it was they happened to be looking at the court website, whether that was the public-facing site or an attorney site, I don't know. The court clerks put those documents up by accident for half an hour, and they were just lucky enough to be the only ones in the world to see that. They grabbed them, and then the court realized and took them down.
Yeah, like the French one, though. They took it down when everybody had it online. Then they took it down.
Yeah, exactly.
And they took it down. I was like, no. And apparently, some YouTubers that didn't get it in time contacted the courthouse, and they did, because everyone had already gone live about it a few days before, and they'd been missing. Their excuse for not getting it and talking about it was, the courts. I contacted the courts, and they said everybody who's had it will be getting arrested.
That's typical, but just to go and arrest the whole internet. There's such an Indiana attitude.
Some of the things I hear on YouTube, it kills me. Like, especially off the prof. Oh my God, he's telling his chat all American police are corrupt, but I've just filed this against so and so. So who'd you file it with?
with Superman or Batman or something.
Yeah, this is what was he said. It's the same site, but you're a lawyer. You have a password to log in and have more access than the general public does.
Yeah, that sounds right. But it was still a mistake, as in the Keegan Kline documents were sealed and shouldn't have been in that place, wherever it was. And they just happened to be. Oh, yeah,
no doubt. But apparently, for that split hour or something, or however long it wasn't.
Yeah.
PlayStation vouchers off a guy online. Oh, okay. I got you. ISPI and FBI are listening. Final reminder, Gibbo, watch it. Okay.
ISP and FBI. Well, hey, ISP and FBI.
She's on about the prof because everything's been documented.
Do you remember his fake FBI document?
Yeah, I've called him out on it loads of times. That's where the pointy comes from. That's genuinely where that comes from, because he's all over this document, and he's saying how it's all related to him, but it's just a generic document off their website. Yeah. And it's not a document; it's just like a part that's explaining something.
Yeah,
like
if you go in FBI.gov and zoom,
gang stalking.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
And he's making out that he'd filed it or something.
Is that where he learned to gang stalk? Because he's pretty good at that.
I couldn't give a toss, to be honest with him. I couldn't. Like, I've never watched him until about his last two ranty lives, Everyone was like putting his link in the Discord and saying, "Oh, he's going live." So we went, save him getting views. We went in voices. We were just all pissing ourselves laughing at him. The last live, we didn't even bother watching. Well, I don't drink, but the rest of them all got drunk.
I couldn't watch it. I think he went live halfway through my stream or something, and
yeah, he did. Yeah, on his last one, yeah. He tried to disrupt your stream. That was your first ever live, and you got just as much views as him.
Yeah, exactly.
That must hurt. His views are dropping, which is good. It seems to be more mods in the chat now than people, and I'm starting to see people from Snae's chat starting to appear in these lives about him. So I'm starting to see that people are listening. So keep at what are you doing? I'll do what I'll do, but I do need a day off or something.
Yeah, it's taxing, but I think that's what these kind of people want. They want us to get exhausted and go away.
Cleverall, I don't know Andrew Gosden. If you message me about it, I can look into it and maybe do a video in the week on it. But you're putting me on the spot here, mate.
That was a 14-year-old who disappeared in London in 2007. He's the guy who got on the train from Doncaster, and he was seen in King's Cross. But yeah, that's not for this audience, I don't think.
Yeah, I can look into it for you, mate, and give you my opinion. But you put me on the spot there. He's not mean. You just don't know how to take him. Don't donate to his GoFundMe so he can take me and others to court. I think he's a rod for his own. He's a rod for his own back.
Yeah, exactly. There's only the red flag is like, how angry can somebody be, and how is it ever reasonable to be that angry for that long? Like, anger has its time and its place, but
Rejection.
It's not 24/7.
I think everything about him says rejection. I'm blocked from commenting on. Okay. Never seen again. Straight case. Yeah. Everything's rejection with him. I think. I mean, who's his missus? Exactly.
Alex.
Do you know what I mean? Who's? I mean, he's. I can't understand the Snae and him connection, especially after everything he did to Snae. I'll never understand that.
Didn't they have a big YouTuber battle or whatever for a while?
They never really got on, and then see the thing, he did unforgettable things like Snae says, "Oh, it's all in the past." No, they harassed his wife, they called her work, and all that. You know what I mean? They weren't just once or twice. He got to the point where they told his wife. This is according to Snae. They told his wife, "It's his channel or your job."
Bloody hell.
That's what he said. But again, that's what he said. He might have changed his opinion since then. I know it's something that you don't exactly have opinion on, but yeah, it went on forever, and they followed him around everywhere he was going, and they were riling him up to the point where he was making stupid decisions and saying stupid things. Like the day he got kicked out of court, he gave 3 reasons for why he got kicked out of court. He wasn't. It's because he was hyped up because Noi was there. So he was going around harassing everyone. That's why he got kicked out of court.
Yeah.
He tells you that. If you go back to the videos from that day, he tells you. But I put it down to Noi. Noi had him up and what's it called? Wound round his little finger, if you like.
Yeah. I hear that is the case a lot with that guy. Actually, I've got a question about the trial, a piece of evidence that I would like to hear your view on. Which is the, how they heard at trial that something was plugged into Libby's phone, at 5:45 p.m. or something.
You want to know something funny?
Yeah.
I had water damage in my phone at the time. This is true. And at the top of my phone...
You don't have an iPhone 6?
No, this was S10 because I broke my phone at the time, so I was using an S10. Yeah. But it told me that... It constantly told me that I had earphones in. It constantly told me that my phone was on charge. And everything was active at the top of my phone, if you know what I mean. And when that come out, everyone was like, well, is something connected to the phone? And I was like, hang on, look. And I screenshot it and I showed, and I think the screenshots are still about where people have circled, like where my headphones and that was. And that's true. That is, I've still got the phone and it's still doing it now.
Well, I believe you, but I feel like that's an explanation. That's like a third level explanation. So I believe that happened to you, but I don't necessarily think that that's what happened there. It might have been, but
the phone was McClelland revealed a picture of the phone. I don't know when it was. I think it was just after trial because
it was January.
The defence said something, so he posted that, and it was the phone, and there was moisture on the screen. So it's not completely like, you know what I mean. It's not. I was in Prof's chat for a while, but if anyone sees me on a replay or something, I retract. Don't post. So is this someone that you know?
No, I just love that she's retracting. Being in chat.
Gancho. Is this the guy from around the trial that was playing Snail? I think it is. They was going at each other. He'd pop up every now and then.
The guy is just weird. No way. I mean,
I think, see, you can't have a conversation like this with them lot because you say something that they disagree with, and instead of going, okay, I'm going to disagree with you on that, but okay, let's move on. They'll sit there and they'll say to you, no, you're an idiot. And they start
coming after you. I'm going to get your job. I'm going to burn your house down.
That's in the next life. Can you believe that Luke come on my channel and said these things? Come on, right, guys. Luke's part of the criminal underworld.
Oh yeah, it's the uni party for sure.
I think they're fucking crazy, and I think
this is a good exercise in showing people how to talk.
What's that?
This is me coming on here. It's like, okay,
a
lot of my own friends wouldn't approve, but I don't really care. We're adults. We can talk about things. You know, that's how it's got to be.
I just think it's time to start breaking down the walls now.
Yeah,
because it's just tried to and failed to dox me over the years. But I think it's time to break down the walls now. People need to because obviously you're doing what you're doing for Richard Allen. But if another case comes along that takes your attention, you know you can do both. And you know what I mean? You're going to want to talk about it. You're going to need people to talk about it. Eventually, if you keep fighting with everyone over your opinion, you're going to end up like the prof. You're going to have no one that wants to talk to you. And this isn't me saying this to you. This is me saying it to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no one's going to want to talk to you. You'll end up like Marv, look. Yeah.
It's true. And one thing I struggle with is like this playground mentality of, well, you know, person X said something to person Y 5 years ago in a thing, so therefore I can't talk to you.
Yeah. See, I've never had. I'm quite free spirited. I've never really had anyone say to me, "I won't talk to you if you talk to so and so." I've never had that. I was a bit concerned about saying to people, "Oh, I'm having Luke on tonight." I thought I'm unsubbing, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? But it never happened. Everyone was like, Ruckus was like, "Oh, this is brilliant."
Okay.
Kink said the same. I hadn't spoke to Frank about it, but he was straight in the chat. So I'd only just made the link, and he was straight in there.
I think, there was a time for a couple of years when we all used to scrap and say stupid things to each other. And, that was in that environment. That was like the hot zone, That 2-year period, the trial period was like a hot zone. And we
Yeah,
were
I
all
think
bound to
part
get
of,
our noses up
part,
joint.
part of the big divide was a lot of new people coming post arrest. Look,
Yeah.
I was part of another community that watched the Delphi stuff. So I took a massive break, and then when I come back, I wasn't actually going to go into lives and things like that. I was just what's it called? I was just hang on. Channel. Yeah, I was just watching like court TV and the news and things like that. I was just watching court TV and the news, and I wasn't ready for because I was too tired for all the debates and everything that happened. You know what I mean? And I was talking to people in the what's it called, the comments and that, and I got to know a few people, and went over to a few lives, and that's where I come about like getting involved in lives and that. Like I really weren't looking for it all and that, to be honest. I just wanted somewhere to go to watch the trial weeks and that, because obviously with there being no no coverage, it was going to be next to impossible to get any news before bedtime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never mind thinking.
And also, like, I'm guilty of this. I've said things in the past, and when things were hot, like, it is what it is. People can't hold on to it for the rest of your life, or you can, but just disengage.
I dropped my cigarette. Yeah, I was a bit like when I first, because I wasn't pro defence and I wasn't pro prosecution. I was more leaning towards prosecution at the time. Oh no, what have I done? Frank, I blocked you from the channel. I've unblocked you. Sorry, Frank.
That's it. He's gonna get his revenge on you now.
I don't know what my moderators are doing.
I would say for me, when I started to think something was up is when the PCA was unsealed, because McClellan made such a huge fuss about how compelling it was and how it contained XYZ, etc. But then it was unsealed, and it was kind of like, okay, you want to?
Frank zoned out, Frank. Yeah, go on. Sorry, I was listening.
That's when it got shady for me, or at least I wanted to pay attention to the due process side of it. When the PCA was unsealed, because it didn't have what McClellan said it would have, and then doubt started creeping in.
Well, see, like I said, I wasn't, but I think that's down to there was 5 years of this investigation, and in the press conference beforehand, the one where they said that. Yeah, I'll show the clip.
All right.
Yeah,
You get to see Doug Carter.
Yeah. this one so everyone's familiar.
While I know you are all expecting final details today concerning this arrest, today is not that day. Today's not that day. This.
Yeah, that one is the one like. Oh no! Yeah, no, it was that one. Yeah, like.
He loves a good sniff, that guy, doesn't he?
What's that? Oh yeah.
You can always tell a cokehead by the way. Sorry, no offense, dog.
Well, careful! You just put a nail in your coffin. All the women and in and around they're going to come after you. I was so mad at Doug Carter that day.
I'm still waiting for him to get to the point, you know.
I've got no bods doing anything.
Page 8 of the PCA is sealed. Yeah, I mean.
But I heard that page 8 is just blank because it's names, like talking about witnesses and that. I could be wrong. Yeah.
Page 8 tends to should contain the bit where it's the oath, you know, because a PCA has to have an oath, otherwise it's not valid. Because the officers bringing it have to be, you know, they have to put themselves at risk if they're lying, basically. So they have to have that oath written there, and it's a certain form of words. I think that's what's missing, and that gets a lot of people suspicious. Especially as Dina then signed off on it and quit his job. Well, quit the case.
Well, a lot of people have been talking about the sheriff's election, and I don't see how an arrest in the case would help him because he wasn't sheriff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they were saying that. I mean, I know he sued because he got demoted and that at the time. Yeah, there are a total of 8 pages. Oh God, it's not doing it. 8 touchscreen. Total of 8 pages sealed.
I mean, that's whether it's 8 pages sealed or page 8 sealed. That's not right, really. It's not normal,
especially now.
Yeah,
I agree with that. But I get. Well, it's not. Do they even need to redact? What's it called? Do they need to redact? Marv, can you drop some links, please?
I don't know where Beyond the Evidence is getting that info. You know, I'm pretty sure it's just about there being 8 pages sealed. I'm pretty sure it's just page 8. But whatever the case, like they can redact things if they need. They can release a PCA without it being the end of the world. But it's that missing oath that is the problem for me.
Well, I agree with it being sealed or being released. Whichever way they go, there's a reason for it. But there's no need for it to be sealed now.
No.
Everybody should be able to see that one.
Yeah,
Frank
exactly.
Morrison called and asked about the pages, I'm guessing. Yeah. 8 pages of the PCA have been sealed because I talked to Carroll County Clerk.
Pretty sure it's got page numbers on it.
It's been that long since I looked at the PCA. Yeah. I think I glanced at it when it come out and I just weren't happy with it. But I think that was down to we waited 5 years and things like that. So if anyone's got any questions for Luke or me, drop the questions. Okay, Marv. Yeah, thank you. Just write like 8 pages after what we can read. That's for Frank. Can answer that one. Well, the PCA can be sealed for many reasons. Witnesses, not to elude the. There's just numbers of reasons that there's in the Idaho case. There's a lot of that sealed, and they don't reveal it till trial. Okay, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that part of it was spent on Stacey. Can't remember her surname, the phone expert, and the rest. I mean, this is covered by client attorney privilege, so I wouldn't know, and if I did, I wouldn't be able to say. Stacey Eldridge, exactly. That's
Stacey Eldridge.
Yeah. There's a lot of kind of conspiracy theories about this defense, the donated money. I think a lot of people want absolute transparency, but like the absolute transparency is not always possible. This money was put into a trust for use by lawyers for their client, so it's a difficult balancing act, because you can't just go out and say, well, we spent X on it. We spent this on that and this on that, because it's privileged information.
You'll never see your free books. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions for Luke or I, just put our name at the beginning, and then thanks for at least trying to answer. Even a general explanation will slow some of the theories. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Clever. Unfortunately, it's not the case with Foghorn and Leghorn over there.
Andrew
shouting from the rooftops. Yeah.
It's Batwoman and Robin.
Yeah, exactly.
I went straight to Hennessy. Allegedly, Ruckers. Is there anything that we can talk about the prof for a bit if you want? I have no problem with that.
Go on, if you want.
Yeah. So, what's his beef with your website? Because I've never been on it, just because I've never seen a link to it or anything.
Oh, you're not the audience either. I mean,
what's that?
You're not the audience, even. That's no disrespect to you. It's not like it's for other people. It's for people who never heard about the case.
No. I'm not asking for a link to it. Like, I'm just saying, like, I've never seen it, so I don't know what he's on about when he's talking about it.
He knows there's nothing wrong with the damn website. It's
what is it he's actually, because like I don't read what he says and things like that. People send me screenshots of his posts and that, and I don't read them. I just Do you know what I mean?
Issue changes. It changes on an hourly basis or a daily basis, or whatever. So it's the same thing with the Bridge Guy video. So yesterday, Batwoman, that's going to stick. Batwoman said, my issue is, why does Grey Media have the copyright on the video? Because they couldn't understand why this thing happened on YouTube with Grey Media. And then somebody answered it really well. And then she said, oh, actually, my issue is not with copyright. It's the same with Prof and the website. It's just, they're just using
Was that criminality?
Yeah, criminality.
Yeah, I've seen that bit.
Yeah.
I was watching a bit, yeah.
And I'm in touch. I wrote an email after that to the lawyer for Grey Media to get, because I want an answer on the record in public from them, because they're not actually claiming it as a copyright. It's just that the YouTube system, for whatever reason, has made up this decision, and then Prof has taken that as an excuse to roll out this extensive conspiracy theory that somehow I work for Lafayette Police Department.
See, I've got some shorts that someone gave me to post about him, and I've got copyrights on them. They're not from him. It doesn't do anything. It just says there's a copyright on this, and like you click, like how Teresa was explaining, you click on the thing to dispute it and that, and it just says you don't need to take any action because it's not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what the best bit for me is? we released the video on the 12th of March. It was already on YouTube all over the place before Grey Media posted it on the 14th of March. So that's all you need to know. You know, you don't need to go and create some massive conspiracy. But he was
Well, see,
itching for a reason.
my point is, like, if that's where everybody got it from, it just means that they had it first. It's like him saying that, like, if I posted it on my YouTube channel, that it's like, and you can throw all he wants at me. He don't scare me.
Yeah.
He won't even say my name, and he keeps hashtagging that now. Say my name. I've noticed, but
Really, he's not Beyonce. Is he Destiny's Child or something?
It's hilarious because the thing is, what he's doing is he's heard me say you've got to do what they're doing to you. So he's saying say my name, but he won't say mine. Like he says that small YouTube channel when he's on about Peggy as well. But he was going. There was a small YouTube channel that went live, and he mentioned my 2 lives, everything that I'd done in them. And then he instead of, like, you know, saying, yeah, so Frank, like, he alluded to you, and he was going, yeah, so Luke. And I was like,
right. He thinks I'm Wilson, voice of Wilson as well. He said that the other day. That's quite funny.
What, Wilson?
And you know
Wilson
I'm not, because I was asking you who it was.
Oh, he was asking about someone called Wilson.
No, he said on his live, I've read the transcript of his Friday live, and he said that I set up the voice of Wilson.
Oh, okay.
To do those clips, and I can assure you I don't have the time for
that. Yeah, people going, look, I ain't got the energy for it. I ain't like.
No.
I watched his lives, the last 2, but it takes too long to get going. Like, he literally, like, he'll go, oh, I'm just going for a wee, and then he's gone for 20 minutes. Or it takes him 20 minutes to get going. And did you watch his piano live?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that was weird.
I switched that off after half.
That was the weirdest thing I ever seen, because his mods was passing emails around with everyone. And I was like, he's going to stay away for a bit. But he heard me say it. And once he heard me say it, he's come live again. So I know he's watching. And it kind of makes me happy.
Yeah.
The great and powerful prof's watching.
Because it's compulsive.
Oh, he's got a document, hasn't he? I thought
he's got to document all of the.
Don't get me started on the 1,000 hours. I want my 1,000 hours.
He deleted 230
he's
videos.
He's doxed everyone he's already doxed.
Yeah.
I mean, even in that video, he was doxing the names.
Yeah. I don't know why YouTube hasn't taken him off yet.
I know. I don't know how he's getting away with it. All you could see was his pasty arms and man titties.
That's true.
Yeah, everybody say hi to Robin. See, my little sister, when she's in her 20s now, but she used to watch Dora the Explorer when she was a kid.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know if you know it, but like
yeah, I do, yeah.
The fox, and he's swiping out, swiping. It's noncy, no noncy. I guilty of crime. I don't know that one, but okay. Oh, I do. She's the woman from Canada. Oh, Mummy Wolverine's here now. Yeah, I don't know what to do with him. Do we put him in a box and say, like, you know, here is the prof? Do you know what I mean? I've got all this going on my phone. I need to knock it all off.
If he had no real world impact, I would say just ignore. And there are trolls you ignore. You know, that's life. It's the internet. We can't stop people saying stupid things, right? The problem is he's going around calling my friends, calling people I've worked with, etc., trying to get them to shut me up. And at the same time, he was trying to get me arrested. at the same time, he was trying to get me arrested for helping publish the BG video. Like, it does actually have an impact. So legal action is gonna be forthcoming, I think, but I can't really say what that is.
I mean, I've never seen him go live with like any material or make a video. All his videos seem to be other people's material. Like how he got footage from the trial, I don't know. So obviously someone gave it him. Do you know what I mean? He said, "Yeah, you can use this."
Yeah. And then he'll replay it, and then he'll do a review of his thing. So like, I don't know what the audience is thinking. I don't know why these 200 people are turning up there every day to watch this thing for the third time.
I noticed as well he's added a load of new mods, because I said he only adds mods now if they donate money and they're pretty and young. Yeah. And since I've said that, I noticed a lot of older women as mods, and I was like, you wasn't a mod last live.
I saw that one as well that you pointed out for $1.99, and he was like, "Oh, you're getting a wrench."
And then I was going mad. It was all in voices. I was going mad because he says, "Oh, $1.99," but he was clearly, he's seen the picture, and he was like, he was looking at her like I'm looking at Bossy now. And he was drooling, and then I've actually got the one of my short videos. If you go on my videos section, there's a lot of stuff, and there's free statuses about him off his dad. But his dad's mentally ill because he's saying bad things about him. Brain injury, that was it. But,
his poor dad. His poor father.
But his dad's supposed to be just as bad, to be fair. As in, like a few people have scooped his Facebook since and said, like, he'd be complaining about... Coach Kev, he doesn't go live very often, but he's a firefighter, and he's also running for school board, so he's a bit busy on his lives at the moment, but he will be getting back to it, he said. What music is he playing on his lives? Is it copyrighted? I don't think he's playing anything. I genuinely think watching him, he's playing a recording because his hands don't move right. So all that money, he's got arthritis in his fingers and that. Do you know what I mean? So now he hasn't got the energy for it. So say he's okay. Coach, yeah, I'm trying to get him in contact with him for that. Oh, full shit's Uncle Gummy. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he keeps calling me out now. Everywhere I go, he's calling me out.
Same, yeah. He does the same thing. He's blocked, but he'll put stupid comments.
He come in a chat, and I was moderating that chat, and he come in and he was like, "Stupid Gibbo, this stupid," and I was like, "Boom, see ya."
Yeah. Mini prof.
I unblocked. I seen him on my block list, so I unblocked him.
Yeah.
And first thing he does, within minutes, he went and wrote on my thing, "So you want to dance?"
And you never turned up?
No, he didn't know. He was there for that. I've got such a brilliant video on him. It's got the little clips in there. Don't you ever make fun of me?
Oh, but it's so easy to make fun of him.
I think I've got him here, actually.
You know, that's the thing. Like,
yeah.
I don't care who fucking likes me. I got about 10 good friends left. You little motherfucker. Don't you ever make fun of me.
I love it. Oh, shit.
How soft do you have to be, for God's sake?
I've got the full clip of that. I'll upload it as unlisted because I don't know if I can have it up. I'll upload it as unlisted and I'll send it. Yeah, It's hilarious. He goes on a panel that CJ and Dan, they're doing a like, and he goes up and he's going, "What's up, puppy? Wiener dog." I love it. I do. I don't know how he has the stomach to go around to go at people when he acts like that. Because do you know how he come about?
Who, Four Pits?
Yeah.
No.
He was telling everyone that he was best friends with, I think it's Libby's dad.
Right.
He says he was best friends with him and that. And someone asked him, and he said, "No, I've never met him." And then he went from, "Oh, we was just friends in high school. I gave him a hug. He knows who I am." And like, he walked up to him and he didn't know who he was.
He saw him at a supermarket once or something. Like, what is wrong with these
Derek,
people?
they are Derek. Derek was who he.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wrestlers. Mm.
Yeah, they was in the wrestling team. We don't have that here, do we? Wrestling teams.
No.
It's a big thing in America, isn't it? So, but yeah.
I wouldn't wrestle with Four Pits. I mean,
then I just love it. Like, there was a video he did before trial, and he was putting his finger up, and it was to me and to someone else, and he was just spinning round, and someone put, "You spin me right round, right round." He took the video down. You know him. He's a gold mine. If you carry on your channel and that, he's a gold mine. He'll clip you. So
Right.
leave him to it. Let him get all the little clips up and go for him.
Yeah.
Copyright. Chicken rustler. Oh, he's got a case against him. I think he's just had it like he's just dealt with now. He stole some fried chicken.
Really? No, that was a meth case, wasn't it?
He stole some fried chicken and he fled Indiana for 8 years. And I've got a clip as well. Oh, it's hilarious. This is all in that video, but I can't get it to download. I've got this clip, and it's fucking annoying. He goes, "Yeah, Joshua, he's over in the gazebo. He's sad. It's a little bit much for him." And it's in the same clip, like he walks past with donuts and that. Like he's like, "Boy."
Jesus Christ. I believe it though. I believe it. Have you seen that? Obviously, you've seen that video. I think it was Jinx's or something, where she's got a drone and she's watching him in a car park, or someone's watching.
That's
him.
Noy, any you on about?
Yeah.
No, I think I know what you're on about. They're in a car, and he's standing there and he's filming, because that's what he does. If they go to the trial or anything, whenever they have like a fag break or anything like that, he's cameraing their faces and following them around, going, "I've got you," and it's like
a pest.
God's sake, look at this! How quick did I make an alt? Hey everyone! God's sake. Yeah, so that one, like, what he's doing, he's harassing whoever's in the car, and the drones thing. There's a video somewhere. I'm mentioning it now, so it'll probably get sent to me. What's it called? Like the person operating the drone is they're taunting him.
Really?
Like he swings at the drone and everything.
Oh, shit. I have to watch that. Yeah.
Oh, I'll ask, I know who's got it. I'll ask him, and I think it's on YouTube, so I'll send you a link to it.
That's giving me an idea, actually, but I won't say it on air.
I don't know how these people have the stomach, because they've gone around for all this time as clowns. Do you know what I mean? And now all of a sudden they're the voice of reason.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now
They wanna
they want to
insert
be the
insert
voice of
themselves.
reason. Like you see, like Niall doing a live where he's walking around and he's looking for troll farm. He says I'm on troll patrol, and he's walking around. I think it's Delphi or Wabash. He does it in different places. Nowhere near where these people live. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, why are you doing? And I was talking to Aurora. Now she's nothing to do with Delphi. She never watched it or anything like that before. Well, she did, but she weren't part of this community. And I was like, throughout the trial, I says you had Robin would be going live, expecting them to come in and like give him absolute information and like just drop everything. And you'd see he was spitting feathers because like they put the phone on the hood of the car, and they went and stood and they was talking to him. No, and he's fine. He's stalking. Allen County, no, he's fine. Fine. He's stalking.
Is that the drone one? That's the best one, I think. Or there's
I'll get her to send me that. I'll get her to. She'll send it me anyway.
There's one where he's driving.
That prick noise showed. My old apartment, Frank. Don't get him encouraged to go again.
There's one where he's driving past CJ's house last year, and then he goes up and talks to a cop, and the cop then pats him down. And the cop is asking him, "Do you have a gun?"
Yeah, he done something similar during the trial. Like he must have just walked up to him because he literally starts filming the end of the conversation, and he's like, he must have reported these to the police, and he's saying like, I've just had that link sent to me. He's saying like, he's talking as if he's just made a police report, and they're like, okay, well you just make sure you stay safe and that, and he's like, okay, officers, thank you, officers. But then when he's on one of profs in profs chat, he'll be saying, "Oh, they're all corrupt. They're all corrupt. The police are corrupt."
Yeah.
But he's in hiding at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's been. You know how they've been contacting your work, and they did the same to Snay and things like that. So I'll give them a bit of their own medicine. And I send his probation officer all his videos off his channel.
Yeah.
All his posts, screenshots of the posts, threats he's made like to people and that. And I sent it all in. And at first he was running around.
Public information. His posts are public. Why shouldn't his probation officer see them?
Well, this is it. And at first he was like, he was giving it the big one, but all of a sudden he's gone quiet. So whether or not it's to do with me contacting his probation officer, I'm definitely taking credit for it.
Yeah.
No, he never goes quiet.
Anybody got a drone in Colorado by any chance?
I don't think they're allowed drones over there, especially not in his neighbourhood. I don't know how his son can live with him, because I'm hearing that his other son either lives with him or lived with him during his stuff and all that. Prof does. Yeah, but Prof's is like a little 99p one. I've shown up way too late, it appears. Okay. Sometimes I've got ideas. They're all bad. I emailed his probation officer with a cease and desist. I think a few people did. Like, I can't remember, but I just remember I wrote to him and I was like, well, I hear you're his responsibility, so this is what he's doing online. He changes his name online. He deletes the lives after, but these are the things that he hasn't deleted. And his probation officer was like, this is crazy. But he was like, I recommend that you go to the police about it. And I was like, no, you're his probation officer. I'm coming to you.
Yep.
because he's on he's violated his probation for trespassing, and he had a drug test and he failed. There was a warrant out for his arrest. If you go on my channel,
Yeah, I remember.
I
Not long ago.
did. I did a live on him, and I got some random like police chases off the internet, and I was just playing them throughout the video. Like, oh, noise here now, and that really wound him up because he went like super annoyed. Then
What they
They
don't
don't-
understand is British people are expert trolls. Like, we are literally born trolls and will die
Yeah.
trolls.
So say hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things I've done to them, it's unreal. 4 pits. Oh, I was only ever nice to him actually, like sarcastically, and he blocked me. But yeah, 4 pitches going on now. Like he's the main man, if you know what I mean. I don't know where he's got it from. Hopefully, someone gives him a slap on his head or something, and
Isn't he
sorts
like
him out.
5'2" or something?
5 foot.
He's probably got like little man complex or something.
I think we was all debating that the other day. 5'2". Well, it depends. If he lies down, he's about 5'9". Because for a little guy, he's got such a big gut, and he's just come out of nowhere. I'm sure at
He
one
latches
time.
on to whoever's, like, last year he latched onto CJ, and like it's just like, what? Who are you? Like, just if you want to start a channel, be a creator, then fucking do it, or go away. You know.
He can't be a creator. No one cares about people walking around places where nobody am. Like there's one footage. He went. They was all at the bar, and he went and he sat at a table far away from them, and he gets asked to leave. And as he's leaving, you hear the women saying, "Yeah, we're gonna have to get a restraining order on him."
What, Shabugis? Why are you here to bully me? What is wrong with you? She's always
No
bullying
harassment
me.
in the chat. There's
Actually,
no
Flora
movement
Ford,
in the chat, and then all of a sudden it starts jumping when I'm trying to touch it.
this is a good. I mean, that reminds me of the Flora 4 case needs much more attention.
Well, we're actually going to try and cover it as well. I'm hoping with Coach Kev, like, because he's a firefighter and he did a brilliant live with Sleuth Intuition, like the way he guides him through, like walking through the fire, like through the photos and that. He's brilliant, and I wanted him to come on because I don't watch Sleuth Intuition, so I wanted to be able to watch it, like his perspective, like the way he explains things, and that's just brilliant.
But not the guest is not Sleuth, presumably.
What's that? Yeah, Coach Kev.
Yeah.
The way he walks through, he's never been involved in the drama. He stays out of it all. And but when he goes, he went. I've seen a video. Someone posted it, and they was all talking about him. And he went in like he was. I think he was mid live, and he just ended the live. And then next thing you know, a video popped up of him trolling them all, and it was fucking brilliant. He doesn't. He doesn't get involved in it all. Like, he just ignores them.
Right. Yeah.
But when they was going in on him, and I think they was getting personal.
I haven't seen him actually.
Coach Kev, he's only a small channel, but he deserves a lot more views than what he's got because he mainly talks about like serial killers, and like goes over them sort of cases, and he touches on Flora. He doesn't do Delphi anymore, but he did Delphi. And he's a pretty good channel actually. He's pro prosecution, but he's neutral. Like, he doesn't care what your opinion is.
Okay. But like a fire expert would be a good person to talk about Flora, and there's so much to discuss about that case actually.
He's got some. I've got a 30-minute live on Flora on my lives. If you go to it, in there, I'll show you one of his videos, and that video is like he's meant to be his best one.
Right. I will.
No, Coach Kev's not here. Okay. Right, I'm ready for bed. I am. So.
All right.
You want to call it a night?
Yep, that was good. We had a good chat.
Luke's links are at the top. His Twitter, because he's mainly on Twitter, but his YouTube's on there as well. For
That's mainly for Shaboogies and Jessica and Keith. But yeah.
Oh, well, are they like co-hosts on there?
Yeah.
Well, there you
They're
go.
better than me.
The other hosts on there as well. Just when you go over there, just be respectful.
All right, man. Good to talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. See you later.
See you.
Yeah. So people from opposite sides can have a conversation. You don't have to argue. We don't have to agree, but we can talk about what we do disagree on and find common ground. All that said, I'm going to bed. Good night.